Hello, this is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, and before we go into today's episode, we're going to hear a little message from our friends over at Chat Tsunami. Take it away, lads.
Lovely little red panda.
Welcome to Shatsunami, a variety podcast that discusses topics from gaming and films to anime and general interests.
Previously on Chat Tsunami, we've analysed what makes a good horror game, conducted a retrospective on Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond, and listened to us take deep dives into both the Sonic and Halo franchises.
Also, if you're an anime fan, then don't forget to check us out on our sub-series, Chat Tsunami, where we dive into the world of anime. So far, we've reviewed things like Death Note, Princess Mononoke, and the hit Beyblade series.
If that sounds like your cup of tea, then you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and all good podcast apps.
As always, stay safe,
Stay awesome, and most importantly,
Stay hydrated.
I'm such a fan of Chat Tsunami.
Big fan. Big fan.
Oh, I had the fucking lyrics ready and everything. Hold on. Going from now. Here's a middle finger coming straight from Oka LA. I appreciate your judgment. It has proved that I can't trust a word you say. Welcome back to Two Blokes from Blighty. I'm Joey Fitz. I'm joined by the green-fingered Tim Fitzgerald.
Consider me fingered. What the hell were those lyrics?
That was Plot to Bomb the Panhandle by Data Remember.
I haven't thought about that song in such a long time.
I'm really getting back into a Data Remember, and I don't know why, but
I mean, they're a
it's
good
really
band.
good. They're a very good band.
I've been listening to a lot of modern Shikari stuff because I kind of dropped off at the end of Flash Flood of Color. So I've been like listening to Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible a lot recently.
So can I say that I think The Spark is their best album?
Is that the latest one?
No, it's the second to latest. I think. No, it's the one before Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible.
That's the one with Live Outside on it, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
As someone who loves Shikari enough to have multiple Shikari tattoos, that one to me is the best one, the most heartfelt and ever. I think forever thought-provoking. It talks about a lot of issues that constantly come around, and mental health and racism in the country and all that joyous, fun stuff.
I mean, I've been listening, like I said, I've been listening to a lot of Everything Is True and Nothing Is Possible.
By the way around, Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible.
That one. The two highlight tracks for me on there are, of course, Satellite, absolute banger with a really important message, but also Waltzing Off the Face of the Earth is just such a powerful, angry song.
Yeah, it's powerful and angry are two words I would use to describe Shikari. Less so in the album I recommended, but
I'll give it a go tomorrow. I'm in the office tomorrow, so I need something to listen to.
What a band. Tim, we always start off the show in the same way. So here is Pub Quiz Question of the Week.
Pub Quiz Question of the Week. Not a jingle, that's a sound effect at best.
What we have there is a fucking jingle, Tim.
Pub Quiz Question of the Week. Joey, on the topic of music, from which US city does the band The Killers originate? Did you know as well, by the way, they are a Christian band?
No. You know I've met them, don't you?
I did not know that.
So they played Leeds Festival. And I wasn't working, I didn't go to Leeds Festival, but they did a warm-up show at the Leeds O2 Academy where I used to work. And they were brilliant, absolutely amazing. It was like 2,000 capacity venue. I was in the balcony bar, which is the furthest point away. So I was like, well, I got to see the show, I got to hear it. Wasn't involved or anything. But then afterwards, they said, we're going to keep you working for a bit so that we can have an artist VIP section. So the Killers all came and hung out at the bar I was serving them, and the Kaiser Chiefs were there, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
A good night.
Yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah, but from what US city do they originate?
See, I actually thought they were from Toronto, but that would be Canada.
That's not the US.
I'm going to say Chicago.
Okay, it's not Chicago, but we'll come back to it at the end of the podcast.
I guess I'll just forget about it.
Speaking of which, Josh has got another question for Sean Bean.
Oh, wow. We can bring him in early if you want.
Well, it depends on when his taxi gets here.
I can see a taxi pulling up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, that is a knock at the door.
That's a banging at the door, if anything.
I'm going to go and get the door, but I'll leave you with this.
All right.
Move, you bastards! Move, you lazy bastards!
There's a French bastard in these mountains called Loop. Bastard.
Hey up, you bastard.
Hello, Sean Bean. How are you this week?
I'm all right, but are you still a bastard?
I always have been and always will be, Sean Bean, especially for you. Sean Bean, what have you seen this week?
Bastards, Tim. Bastards everywhere.
A lot of bastards everywhere this week, especially if you're following the UK news.
Well, maybe we'll leave that for later in the show, because
maybe
you and Joey have told me that you bastards are going to talk about bastards.
Yeah, we're going to talk about bastards for a bit, but we do have another question for you, Sean Bean.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Bastard.
From Josh, Forget About It Scar of Talking Smack fame, go give them a listen. Josh has written in and said, I have another question for Sean Bean, if that's allowed.
Oh, of course it is. Josh isn't a bastard. He's a lovely bloke.
Lovely bloke. So he has said, Sean, you've worked with many notable actors, Christian Bale, Nicolas Cage, Jennifer Connelly, the Lord of the Rings cast, Adam Sandler, and so many others. My question is, why do you die so often in your movies?
Well, Josh, I've got an answer for this, all right? So, first things first, work with loads of bastards. Lovely bastards, horrible bastards. There's a good spectrum of bastards. Now,
Right.
part of my contract is that I don't want to be bastard lying around until the end of shoots. So,
Right.
I want to get off early, get the first train
Right.
home back to Sheffield, where this bastard's from.
It's a
So-
commute thing.
So, I die so I can get the early train like
Right,
a clever
okay.
bastard.
That makes sense. Thanks, Sean B. And I'm sure we'll have another question next week.
Thanks, Tim. Is that all you needed me for?
That's all this week.
Oh, you bloody, waste of my bloody time, bloody bastards.
Well, I'm hoping you can get the first train back.
Move, you bastards! Move, you lazy bastards!
There's a French bastard in these mountains called Loop. Bastard.
Do you
There he
know,
goes.
he's gone. The taxi's pulled away. Actually, same fare.
Same fare.
Didn't even need to pay for 2 trips.
He just stopped in for basically what was a wee and left.
I froze again. I do get scared around Sean Bean.
He's a very intimidating man.
Well, do you know what I've noticed is really weird about Sean Bean?
What's that?
Why is his accent so different to the intro music?
I'm assuming that's like in the intro music. Obviously, it's samples from movies. I think there's some audio engineering magic happening there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a Yorkshire filter or something.
Yeah, so if any of our listeners have questions about that, don't bother asking them because
I've just answered it.
Tim's answered it, and
Fuck
it's
off.
definitely Sean
What do you
Bean. What do you want? Tim, this episode goes out on Wednesday, usually.
Yep.
It'll be the 14th of August.
God, are we already halfway through August?
We will be when this comes out. We're only on
God
the 7th at
almighty.
the moment, just to date it, Tim.
Hmm.
But I've just said it's a Wednesday, so I'm not going to do the silly. What day of the week is that?
What day?
What day of the week is that?
It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Watch him Wednesday. Watch him dude. 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 He'd be Wednesday down the street. He'd be Wednesday to the beat. He'd be Wednesday down the street. He'd be Wednesday to the beat. My dudes. It's Wednesday. My dudes. It's Wednesday.
It is
Wednesday.
Wednesday, my dude. So, Tim, I
Yep.
went on our usual site,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one day for the 14th, and I thought, I'm not having that. I want to find more. So I went on a different site, and I found more for you.
All right.
Also, I couldn't pronounce the word that was the 14th on the usual site. So I found different ones for you. I've got 3 days for you.
Okay.
One of them I have questions about because I think it's not the British way of saying things, and I've never heard this word before, and it honestly makes me feel a little bit sick.
All right. What we
So,
got?
Number 1, National Social Security Day.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's obviously for the Americans.
Well, we can have National Insurance Day.
I still have in one of my folders just down there
Mhm.
my social security card from each time I've worked in the States.
Okay,
Can I tell you of the dumbest thing about social security cards?
go on.
It is a thin piece of paper. You get
Okay.
it basically assigned when I think it's when you become a working adult. You're not allowed to laminate it. You're not allowed to scan copies of it. But if you lose it, you cannot get a new one.
Probably
And
if
you
lose
need it. You need it for things like, I don't know, buying a house, buying a car, your
What-
job.
What happens if you lose it?
I don't fucking know. That's a question for the Americans. But I remember being told when I was over there, do not lose this, and like you won't get a new one.
Hey, you Americans.
Hey, I'm walking to the embassy over here.
What do you do when you lose your card? That was sort of accidentally a little bit Christopher Walken.
I'm Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh.
I might see him next season. We won't because I cannot impersonate Christopher Walken. Then we have World Lizard Day.
I do like lizards.
Lizards is a good one.
Lizards are cool.
And then we have National Creamsicle Day.
No, I'm going to go with lizards.
Creamsicle is the word that made me feel a bit sick.
I don't like that. It makes my toes curl a bit.
In a sexual way? Oh, there's a fourth one. There's a fourth
day.
One. You won't choose it, but there is a fourth day. National Tattoo Removal Day. Go for lizards.
I'm going for lizards.
How do you want people to celebrate our lizardy day?
All right. I'm going to need to go onto a TikTok account for how everyone's going to celebrate this. There is a TikTok account that I got shown to me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And all this guy does is he goes into the Florida. Is it the Everglades that are in Florida?
I have no idea.
Either way, big swamp in Florida. Yes, it's the Florida Everglades. Here we go. So you're gonna need to go and find the channel T Prank. All he does, just go and watch some of his videos. All he does is he goes into the Florida Everglades barefoot, and he's going looking for a particular kind of snake. And this is what his whole channel is dedicated to, is going to find this one snake. But anytime he sees a lizard, he's just like, look at this ring-tailed, yellow-headed lizard. Yoink. And he'll just steal the lizard. But
that's not allowed.
But he takes every single lizard, and every time he sees a crocodile, he'll just walk up to him and be like, look at this swamp puppy, and he'll just start antagonizing it, and then he'll leave.
This man sounds like a menace.
He sounds like a meth head.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure how that correlates to someone celebrating Lizard Day.
Go watch his TikTok, and if you see a lizard, pick it up and you say yoink. Yoink.
Okay. Cool. I saw a lizard the other day.
Oh, yeah? What kind?
There was a few of them.
Oh, yeah?
We went to a thing, and this is one of the best and worst names for an event. It was just someone who went to local community centres and brings lots of animals and
they bring like spiders and that, don't they?
Yeah, but they had a few lizards and like a bearded dragon and turtles running around. It was called Angie's Animal Antics.
AAA.
But it made me think of like Animal Antics made it sound like what wacky shenanigans are going to go on here. No wacky shenanigans happen.
That's very anticlimactic.
It is. Sorry. Well, that's why it's not in the running order. But I did see some lizards the other day, so that's fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Should we bring up another animal story that is in the running order?
Yeah, because I've been dying to hear this. You added this to our running order a few days ago and teased me with it to the point where I was like, maybe I want to listen to what Tim has to say on this before the show. Tim has put 6 simple words in the running order that are, I ripped a bird in half.
Yep, ripped a bird in half the other day.
A living bird?
No, very dead.
With your hands?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh my God, okay. Are you
So
practicing Mortal Kombat?
yeah. I did a karate chop.
Nice.
So we got back from shopping, Pin and I, and she was like, "There's a weird smell in the kitchen." So we're like going round, like sniffing and petting. I'm like, I can't work out where this is coming from. My sense of smell's not great anyway. Never has been, but we're trying to work out where it's coming from. I was like, is it just the bin that's ponging or what? Pam was like, Tim, there's a dead pigeon in the garden. And I was like, well, there wasn't a dead pigeon in the garden the other night. So maybe like we've got a cat that's been hanging around in the garden for the last couple of nights.
Right.
Thought it was that. No problem.
You
Thinking,
didn't think Payne woke up in the night and had some like vampiristic tendencies?
Just, open up the pigeon's neck like a bottle of Sprite.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's fine. It's just a dead pigeon. We'll just pick it up. I got out to the garden, rubber gloves in hand, and 2 sets of plastic bags, and saw a dead pigeon kind of wedged halfway under the fence post, right? And what I think has happened is a cat got to it and tried to drag it
away. Right.
Yeah. But it just died like under our fence post. I was like, okay, it's still got all its feathers. It may be fine to just kind of pick up and lift. And I picked up, and I guess because of the weight of the fence post, it ripped the thing clean in two. And like
fucking gross.
And we don't know when this happened. I was in the garden the other night and didn't see it, but it's been particularly hot here this week, so it basically cooked in the garden. And so there was still fleshy bits and some blood, but like the bones were really brittle. So like I just ended up like ripping this pigeon in two, and like a bunch of maggots came out of the thing. I was like, and just like Payne was there trying not to be sick in the garden. I'm there scooping up half a bird with a bag.
That would make me vomit. That nearly made me vomit talking about it with you now. So
so grim.
Can we give a trigger warning, or is it just too late?
For pigeons, or
for
that pigeon?
I mean, for graphic description of you tearing a bird into.
I will say there hasn't been any pigeons in the garden since, so I think they're just scared of me.
Rightly so as well.
Yeah, felt a bit like the Doom guy.
So Tim, can you give a trigger warning? I'm not going to move it. We're just going to have it here. You may have already been triggered by.
You may have already been triggered by the description of me ripping a bird in half.
I apologise in advance, but
I apologise after the fact.
And I don't apologise in advance because I didn't know before, so that's all on Tim.
Yeah. I couldn't identify where its head was though, but there wasn't any pigeon left when I was done. So
was it on the other half of the fence? Did you just leave your neighbours a little toy?
Yeah, I think they've got a dog.
Little present.
Yeah, but it was that was grim.
Don't think I want to keep doing this episode, to be honest.
No, are you done?
No, yeah, done.
All right.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I'm joking, of course.
Yeah. Where do you want to go to next? We got a few things in the running order this week.
Yeah. Can we go to riots, please?
Yeah. Let's quickly touch on this. It's topical for the UK.
It is. So at time of recording, and also going to caveat this with Tim and I will not be making jokes here because it's very serious.
It is a very serious topic, so no jokes.
At time of recording, far-right groups are going all over the UK and terrorising Asian and Black predominant areas. They are setting fire to hotels which are housing migrants, and they are doing it all based off of originally false information about an attack on some children that left 3 of them dead and I think 8 of them seriously injured.
Correct, yeah.
Regardless of the information, we were not going to say anything, but I think it's important to say that obviously we at the Game Club Pod think that these racist thugs are awful, and the thing
in their behaviour.
The thing that they're doing and the name that they're doing them in are absolutely nothing that we align ourselves with. We pride ourselves at the Game Club Pod being inclusive and accepting of everyone, regardless of any characteristics that you may have, whether that be ethnic, sexuality, religion, anything at all. You're always welcome here. And we want to say fuck you to racist thugs that want to go around and cause havoc for the sake of causing havoc.
Well, this is the thing. It's for the sake of causing havoc. Like, the original riots was, as Joey mentioned, started because of misinformation regarding the attacker of the children.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just turned into an excuse for violence and looting. So I've seen videos in Hull, which is a city that we regularly shit on. But jokes aside, I do hope that the people that I know that live there are all right. People I don't know that live there are all right. But I've seen videos of people looting things like Shoe Zone, destroying libraries, attacking hotels. It's a bit crazy to see, to say the least. I've seen some stuff in Bristol. Not firsthand, I've only seen video, but I did see the aftermath of the events at the Mercure Hotel in Bristol, which is housing a lot of migrants at the minute that are going through the immigration process. The big old shout out to the people in Bristol that have that essentially formed a human wall separating these, to not mince words, racist cunts, that separated them from these people that are just trying to make a better life for themselves.
And I think the thing that's really difficult about it, Tim, is the people that are causing this fear and disruption to the lives of people who absolutely don't deserve it are angry, and they are being led to believe that the reason that they are worse off in their life is because some poor families who can't live in their country or choose to make a better life for themselves have come and chosen England to live in. They're angry about that because they've been told that's what they're angry about. And I think it's a very complicated issue, but at the end of the day, the people that they should be angry at are the people that are currently telling them to be angry at migrants. But like I said, we welcome everyone. And we just wanted to make sure that we weren't making light of an absolutely vile situation that's very close to home.
Yeah.
And in some cases is home. So, just thank you for entertaining us for the last couple of minutes, where I know you come to Two Blokes for a bit of a funny, jolly, ridiculous time, but just wanted to be clear that was our stance on some horrible shit that's going on at the moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, Tim, let's go on to something really funny and hilarious. I nearly killed my whole family.
All right, yeah. What was this? Because you spoke about this the other night.
So Angie's Animal Antics.
Oh, it's a continuation.
Well, it's not really. It's just before we got in there, the community centre that we went is quite local to my house, but it's on a hill.
Right.
And I drove us there, and I parked up, and I got out the car, and I went round, as I normally do, to Jack's door to let him out, and then the car started moving, and I had forgotten to put the handbrake on a hill with Jenny and Jack still in the car. So my instinct, what would you do in that situation, Tim?
I mean, I'm learning to drive at the minute, and I was practicing hill starts today.
I'm out of the car. I'm around the other side of the car at this point.
Oh, you're out of the car?
Yeah.
Oh, then no clue.
So my instinct was to stand behind the car and try and stop it rolling.
For fuck's sake.
That was a stupid thing to do. Jenny was also out of the car. Her instinct was to go in the passenger door and pull the handbrake. So between us, everything was okay. But I was very lucky. I left a big gap between the very fancy BMW that was parked behind us.
2 car lengths, baby.
And our car. Otherwise, I mean, killed family is a very, very, very big exaggeration. But I could have had Jack alone in the car during a car crash, which would no be a good time for him.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. That's my nearly killed my whole family story, which actually didn't nearly include any murder at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Don't do that. Basically, use your handbrake when you're not in the car.
Yeah, put your handbrake on, gang.
Well, that was to you for your driving test.
I saw a video on Reddit the other day, or it might have been TikTok, where this guy was loading a car onto the back of a trailer, like kind of one of those drive onto trailers. But I guess the car that was attached to the trailer in front of it didn't have the handbrake on, so enough momentum was caused by this thing getting on that it just sent the car, the trailer, and the car that was on the trailer all down the hill at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, not great at all.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim.
Yep.
You've put your theory test in here.
I've put my theory.
Now that we're talking about cars again.
Yeah.
We should call this Tim Gear.
Tim Gear.
Now you got to do a Jeremy Clarkson impression.
Tonight on Tim Gear, I rip a bird in half and Joey nearly kills a family of 3. Power.
That last one was Richard Hammond.
It was. Now he eats celery or something, whatever the change was after his crash.
What?
Do you remember when he was in that coma or something after that crash?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Richard Hammond, Jeremy Clarkson, James May ran a show called Top Gear. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yep.
And a long time ago, Richard Hammond was in a car that I believe the test was to try and break the land speed record. During this, he flipped over and went in the ground upside down in a car with no roof that was going 200 plus miles an hour. He was put in a coma for a few days, and there was a lot of worry that he genuinely would not be okay.
Yeah, but it turns out he is, and he said that in interviews, the only thing that's changed is that he now likes celery where he didn't before.
Big change. I hope he got compensation.
Doctors hate him for this one secret tip.
I think also the people who replaced him. So at one point it was Chris Evans, Matt LeBlanc, and Paddy McGuinness, maybe. But Freddie Flintoff went on it, and he had a big crash, and he's now suing the BBC because he has PTSD from this crash.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
huh.
Yeah. I like Freddie Flintoff. He's funny. He's good on A League of Their Own.
He's big rugby man, isn't he?
Cricket player.
Cricket. Who am I thinking of with the rugby? Johnny Wilkinson?
He was a rugby, yeah.
He was a rugby. That's what it was.
I'm never into Johnny Wilkinson. He was the wrong type of rugby for me.
Yeah. But just to go back to the theory test, do you know the really stupid thing about it?
Go on.
I've got to go up the other end of the country to take it.
No, okay. I'm going to do clarification on this. You have told me this before. You have to go to Newcastle for it.
Yes. Well, I'm going to Newcastle.
The word have, you said have to.
Yeah.
That's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It is. So my goal for my driving is to pass by the end of the year. And I had a driving lesson today, and my driving instructor says he reckons I'm about 6 or so hours of like lessons off of like being test ready. Mm-hmm. So I've booked in my theory, and I was looking around Bristol as my local test centre. I was looking around Taunton, which is I'm on the Taunton train line somewhere. I looked at Cardiff, I looked at Newport, and I looked at Gloucester. Not one of them had availability until mid-October. Mm-hmm. So I was just getting annoyed at it. And Payne suggested, you're in Newcastle at the end of the month. Why don't you see if there's tests there? Went and check. Loads of availability. So
what happens when you get there and all of the test is written in Geordie?
Well, I understand Haway and Hadaway.
Haway Warped.
Didn't go down the road.
That was the worst Geordie accent I've ever heard. That was close to Sean Bean. Didn't go down that road.
Sean Bean is the Venn diagram of Yorkshire to Bristol. No,
you're going further than that, Tim.
Geordie. That's why he's the Venn diagram. He's in the middle. But no, I'm going up to Newcastle to do my test. So I hope I pass. That'll be fun.
Otherwise, it'll be another long journey.
It'll be another very long journey before I get my test. But my driving instructor today was saying that as soon as if I pass my test, to let him know, and he'll book in the practical or the driving. At that point, we're going to be doing mock tests only on the lessons. So he thinks I'm near enough ready to go, which is great.
Very cool.
Considering I've not had that many lessons with him.
Very cool. Well done.
Big fan. Big fan.
Big
Looking
fan.
forward to getting my Geordie driving test.
Yeah. Are we in this lad past war test? Tim,
Hello.
I'm going to go back to a regular section.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
This is our joke of the week section. Tim and I have prepared some jokes for each other. And if you don't know by now, the point is to make the other person laugh. If that person laughs, then the section is over, and the joke that what made them laugh is declared the joke of the week.
Yeah.
Tim, I have 10 jokes.
I have 9, but I think I might have a repeat one somewhere in there.
What, as in you've got 2 of the same one written down for this?
No, one from a prior episode.
Oh, that's okay. That usually happens. Shall I start?
Yes.
What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
What's that?
They're both Paris sites.
That's good. That's very clever.
That's it.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. My parrot recently died. Its last words were "fuck." I think my parrot's about to die.
That nearly got me. That was funny.
Wow. Okay. Turn 1.
What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie?
What's that?
Sophisticated.
That's good. That's good. I made a list of my favorite anti-jokes. The first 5 are great, but the last one is just gold. So it's great, gold.
Don't get it.
Because the first 5 are great and the last one's gold.
I don't get it.
All right.
Why is swimming with sharks so expensive?
Why?
Because it can cost an arm and a leg.
They are known for that.
Just watch Under Paris.
I have no bed, but I do not sleep. I have no mouth, but I do not. So I have a mouth. Hold on, I'll start that over.
Okay, please.
I have a bed, but I do not sleep. I have a mouth, but I do not eat. What am I?
Dead.
No, tired and hungry.
Oh, that's quite sad.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yep.
Don't ever think that you're completely useless. You could always be used as a bad example.
That's some optimism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Silver lining, everyone. What's worse than ants in your pants?
A bullet in the face.
No, uncles in your pants.
That's true, yeah.
That was a chuckle.
True. That wasn't a chuckle.
That was a chuckle.
I'm sorry, I'm not counting it.
But it's been robbed.
What's the difference between jelly and jam?
I can't jam my dick in your butt or something like that, isn't it?
Can't jelly a clown into a tiny car.
Oh, there it is. Your one's a lot more PC than mine.
Yeah.
Why can't Barack Obama use these 2 fingers?
Reference to me doing the peace sign. Why?
What was that?
I don't know why.
Because they're mine.
Clever. I like it.
Yeah.
Tim, I was shocked to find out that my toaster wasn't waterproof.
That's good. That's good. That's a. I was going to say a slow burn, but it'd be very quick.
Yeah, it would.
I've been reading a book about an immortal cat. It's impossible to put down.
As it would be. Yeah, that's fair. Tim, my grief counsellor died last week.
Oh.
He was so good, I didn't even give a shit.
That's good.
Mm.
That's good. The other day, I caught my brother masturbating. He said, "Close the door," and I said, "Get back inside." There it is.
Damn.
That's my first one in like 8 weeks, I think. That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, what was the joke of the week?
Joke of the week was the other day I caught my brother masturbating. He said, "Close the door," and I said, "Get back inside."
I enjoyed that. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very, very, very good. Tim, do you want a football story?
Yeah, hit me with a football story.
Okay, fabulous.
Winner up from the back. El Mahani right footed. Whips it. Oh, jeez, he beeps, man.
Now Sam Maxima might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy 1-on-1. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, it's a volley in the net! Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game!
I always think the backing soundtrack for that jingle sounds like something from like a sci-fi like vaporwave movie.
I always think it sounds like Take On Me.
Oh, it kind of does.
Yeah, it does. Tim, so this is a fairly recent one. It's quite a short one as well.
Oh, yeah?
So the Champions League, right, is the pinnacle of football tournament. It is the winners and second, third, and fourth sometimes place of each league competing across the European leagues, which are the best leagues in the world.
Okay.
And the winner of that is considered to be the best team in the world, and yada yada yada. Loads of money attached to it. It's considered like the creme de la creme competition. Because of this, teams go tooth and nail to get into the Champions League.
Right.
And some of the lower ranked leagues need to go through playoffs to get into the group stages of this. So they have to play knockout games to get to the first round of the proper tournament.
Right. Okay. It's a bit like pools and brackets in like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So this week, Rangers played a team, and I can't remember exactly what league they're from, but Rangers are a massive team, Glasgow-based team in Scotland, and Rangers equalised in the 90th minute.
Right.
But the story isn't about the football itself, it's about the officials. So on the day, the team of Polish officials for VAR, which is the video assistant referee, needed to be replaced. Do you want to have a guess why?
No clue.
They were arrested at 1:43 in the morning because they stole a road sign on the way to the ground.
Of course they were.
So the police were told at 1:35 that they've seen three men carrying road signs down the street. By 1:43, they had been apprehended by police officers and were all promptly arrested for damaging road infrastructure.
Brilliant.
They had to be replaced on the day, and I just thought it was quite funny.
I got some revision stuff going back to the theory test the other day, and one of the books that arrived was Know Your Traffic Signs, and it starts off with the most dry thing I think I've ever read in a book.
Go on.
Chapter 1, A Brief History of Traffic Signs. Fuck me.
That sounds riveting.
It really do, but it's not a long book. It's fine.
Sounds absolutely riveting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. There's another story, actually, which I can tell you because it's also very short.
Sure.
The winners of the Paraguayan Top Flight League this week went on a victory parade, as often league winners do. They get an open-top bus and they parade the trophy to all of their fans. It's usually a really well-coordinated thing where loads of fans can show up and celebrate with the team themselves. This was obviously not very well coordinated because whilst driving full speed in this bus, holding the trophy up above them, the bus went under some low-hanging power lines, which caught the all-metal trophy. The power lines blew up and a whole neighbourhood lost power.
Amazing.
There's a video of that, which I'll share with you and I can share with the Discord next Wednesday.
Just remind us, audience, for that video, please.
Yeah. Do I play the jingle again or not? I don't remember if I do normally, but I love this game.
Dealer's choice. I don't remember
let's
either.
play it again just because it sounds like Take On Me. And listen out for Take On Me.
Winner up from the back. El Mahani right footed. Whips it. Oh, jeez, he beeps, man.
Now Out on Maxima might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy 1-on-1. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, it's a volley in the net. Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game.
I think it might just be the synth.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I hear it like that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tim, something I haven't put in the running order. I went to see Deadpool last night.
How is it?
Fucking hilarious.
So I find with Deadpool films, and this is going to make me sound like such a fucking sourpuss. They are great on the first watch, and not anything special on anything after.
I think this one I would really love to watch again.
Oh yeah.
So I'm guessing you haven't seen it.
No, not yet.
Are you planning on seeing it in the cinema?
Maybe.
You should.
Maybe.
I won't ruin it, but there's so many references in it. Have you kept spoiler free?
Yeah.
Good. Make sure you keep that way, because some of the things that come up in it are so unexpected.
Right.
I thoroughly recommend the Deadpool vs. Wolverine.
All right. Well, if it's still in cinemas by the time this episode comes out, I'll try and make sure to have seen it.
Good.
I'll try.
No, you will succeed.
I think I'm off Monday next week, so that should be fine.
You should go and see it.
I'll give it a go if I can.
Good. Well, speaking of movies, do you want to talk movies?
Yeah, let's quickly talk movies.
Tim, I've not been adding the jingle in, so do you want to make up a jingle? No, that's not making up a jingle. That's using what we already have.
I don't know if that
half of that. Do you want me to just make up something?
Tim
and Joey watching films. Tim and Joey giving scores. Tim and Joey don't know rhymes. It's movie time.
That's close enough.
There you go.
Great. We watched Minions: Rise of Gru.
And did you meet Banana love it?
This film, I'm going to get to positives.
Sorry, hold on.
Spoilers
for Minions.
For anyone who
Rise
is
of Gru.
deeply invested in Minions lore.
As we all are.
As we all are. I will get to positives. This film just felt like a bunch of non sequiturs. It was just... I know I'm describing how a TV works here, but lights and colours and sounds.
Yeah.
And shapes. That I really, really hated the fact they tried to have like emotional beats with some of the characters, like at the funeral of one of the characters, but then they had a minion singing Amazing Grace in it.
Yeah.
It's and then they were like, oh, well, I don't need the minions anymore at one point in the movie. And they're just like, oh, Isa Magula, that's Star Wars. Isa Magula, per favor, because Spanish, funny.
Yeah, I did think why every now and then they'll speak English. They put some Spanish. There was a bit of French in there. Are they trying to do the thing that Pingu did, where he doesn't actually speak any language, so it's applicable to everyone?
Yeah,
but it's not funny.
No, the first 40 minutes, like when I put this on, I was like, oh, it's an hour and 20. It's actually not too long of a movie. Yeah. About 40 minutes in, I was like, I can't tell if this is the intro or if I'm nearing the end.
This is the longest watch I've had of any film in a very long time. I had to keep turning it off because it just was like brain rot, and I could feel myself getting dumber as I watched it.
It's incredible. Like I found out, like I felt my eyes glaze over at multiple points in the movie.
Yeah.
To quickly touch on the plot, for those who are interested,
you've got 35 seconds for the plot.
Okay, a child version of Gru from Despicable Me wants to be a villain, and there's a villain group called the Vicious Six, and they steal the cool jewel from it's related to Chinese Zodiac New Year's somehow, and the minions are there and shenanigans happen, and a minion loses the gem, but then he gets it back when he meets a stranger on a bike in the desert. Then there's a fight. The end.
Yeah.
That is about it.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting deep, profound, thought-provoking storytelling from the Minions Rise of Gru.
I want a Minions multiverse.
A minion verse.
A Minion verse. I'm sure that is a thing, but
It probably is.
I think
I hate this.
I hate it too. I chose it by doing a pick a number between 1 and 3, and you chose 1, and that was the first movie in the list. So, it was dreadful, Tim. There was points where they were trying to rescue baby or child Gru, and then they got chased by more than half of the movie. They get chased by evil henchmen, and the way that they get away is a lady who was performing acupuncture beats up the villains and then teaches the minions kung fu.
Yeah, but it's
what the fuck was happening there?
I the only thing I could think when I was like watching this was like this character, the acupuncturist lady, is going to be gone in 10 minutes, and we're never going to see any of it referenced again. And do you know what? I was half right.
Do you know? I think the thing that we should say about this film is obviously we are not the demographic.
It's aimed at kids, and I recognize that it's aimed at. I'm gonna be frank, dumb children. Right.
I don't think that's fair. I think it's Minions are a very marketable product, but I think it was evident with the age that it was aimed at by the things that they were parodying. So when they were on the bike and making faces in the back of the oil tanker.
Yeah,
that was a reference to Cars, because that happens in Cars, and that kind of level of parody is the kind of thing that you think, yeah, this is definitely aimed at people much, much younger than me. But then I feel like the setting of the 60s, 80s, I can't remember.
I want to say it was probably 60s or 70s.
Okay. They could have done so much more with it. There was one thing I really did think was really funny, was that the villainous, Vicious Six, their evil lair was below a record shop. And that record shop was called Criminal Records, which I thought was really good.
That was good. And the other, there was a line that actually did get a bit of a chuckle out of me, and it was right at the start of the movie. So I got lulled into this sense of, oh, maybe this won't be so bad. It's a flashback of when Gru, played by Steve Carell, but with a high-pitched voice in this one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was very obvious. It was like post-processing high-pitched voice. It was like really off-putting. But they're having its career day, and there's a very drained-looking teacher being like, "What does everyone want to be?" I know what you're talking about.
Someone says, "I want to be a teacher," and she goes, "No, you don't."
No, you don't. And then moves on to something. But okay, maybe this film won't be so bad. That's funny.
That was good. The other thing that did make me laugh, caught me off guard a bit, made me laugh, is when they were learning kung fu. The lady demonstrated how strong she was by headbutting 3 boards of wood to break it, and then she said, "Okay, now you have a go." And one of them tried to headbutt it and break it and failed. And then the second one stepped up and looked like he was going to headbutt it and fail, but actually he grabbed the first one and smashed his face into the board, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
And those 3 moments, were my highlights of this film.
Yeah, there's not many highlights. Although I will say that some of the character designs, actually, like not the minions. I'm not crediting the funny yellow Tic Tacs. I'm crediting some of the designs of like the Vicious Six. They actually had some really cool like character designs.
You don't like Ipu Mipu Banana?
No, I'm not a big fan of Ipu Mipu Banana as it goes. But what I was a big fan of was one of the villains in the Vicious Six had a giant lobster arm caught, and it was called Jean-Claude, and he was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
All of the Vicious Six actually had quite good names. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But there was the nun who had nunchucks, and she was called Nunchuck.
There was Bell Bottom because she had bell bottom jeans.
Yeah, they were good.
Svengeance, who was like a Swedish guy.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Something like that.
That was good.
Did you know Will Arnett's in this though, and John DiMaggio?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And also a rapper called RZA, and Steve Coogan's in it as well.
Steve Coogan's in everything.
Yeah, he is.
He's in the new Joker film.
Is he really? The musical Joker film?
Is it a musical?
From what I've heard, it's a musical.
I don't think it's a proper musical. I think there's a few scenes where Joker and Harley.
Singing.
But we're getting off topic here from Ipu Mipu Banana. Bad film, Tim.
Bad film. I know I do this occasionally with films that I think will be funny to find on Letterboxd, but Letterboxd is my preferred review platform of choice for films because the people that leave reviews are on another level of just thought processes.
Okay.
So, top review of all time for Minions: Rise of Gru on Letterboxd. If you think about it, the Minions are kind of like Jackass for children.
That is true.
That is true. Shout out to Gru and them. That's a review.
Good.
Rest in peace, Prince Philip. You would have loved Minions: Rise of Gru. So proud of them for giving Minions braces. They're so brave.
That is good. I really like the Prince Philip one.
Prince Philip one's good. It's got an average rating of 6.5 on IMDb. And
what did you give it?
I gave it a 2.
I'd give it a 4.
I know. Well, I hated this movie, but for me, the only reason it's got 2 stars is that joke at the beginning with the teacher, and some of the character designs were kind of cool.
Do you know what? Actually, the scenes, the background scenery was really good in a lot of this. Like San Francisco was very cool.
Oh my god! So this is something I'm not proud to admit. I've seen other Minion movies.
I have to,
mostly on planes, but
mine. I'm not going to say where mine are. So mostly through legitimate sources,
of course. But it just feels like the Minion movies, and this is where we put on our tinfoil hats and get our red yarn out and draw like a Minions conspiracy board to like connect the Minion verse. It just feels like each one is, what if the Minions were in London? What if the Minions were in San Francisco? Yes. What if the Minions were in New York? And like it's
it's exactly that, Tim, because it sells.
Yeah, and I know it sells. But it doesn't mean I enjoy it.
Well, you should.
Red wine sells, but I don't drink red wine.
So I give this 4 eat bananas out of 10.
I give it 2 eat bananas
out of 2.
Out of 10.
Okay.
I'm very torn as to what film to pick for next week. So I'm going to pull up them side by side. Okay. I've got 3 movies set here. I want you to pick number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Number 3.
We are going to watch Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Do you know, you're probably going to hate it because you've seen the hype, but not the film. I fucking love this film. And I know a lot of people hate it.
See, I've heard that it's like one of the great, like it won Oscars, for example. And I know that the Oscars aren't really much of like a bar for excellence these days, but like it's still an award of such.
That reminds me, I was going to choose, instead of Minions: Rise of Gru, I was going to choose The Whale.
Oh, that's a great movie.
I've never seen it. Never seen it.
Phenomenal movie.
But instead, we watched Minions: Rise of Gru. So
I'm looking at my.
Can we set a bonus one? Can we watch The Whale as well? Because it's been a while since we've recorded on a Wednesday. Normally, we've been pushing these back to the weekend, so we've been only doing one movie, which is fair.
Yeah.
But
yeah, okay, we'll watch The Whale.
Yes, get in there.
Let me just mark.
Sounds like it looks like a really cheery, good time.
Oh, it's just peachy. I'm just looking at my movies list on Letterboxd for stuff that I've watched, and one's caught my eye that I watched at some point last year. It was called Volcanic UFO Mysteries.
Very good.
Have I spoken about this on the pod or no?
I think you might have mentioned it.
Okay, but I'll quickly touch on my favorite point from that movie. And it's the thing that I always think of whenever I see this poster now. It's they're doing some filming at this Mexican volcano, and these local UFO watchers just like, well, if you look at this grainy 480p footage, you'll see a UFO land on the volcano and disappear behind a rock. And they're just like, it's clearly a bird or something. But they're like, if only we could get the funding to get this in 4K, then maybe we could prove that UFOs are real. And so the folk were like, okay, we'll give you the cameras to put this in 4K. So they were like, okay, great. And then they stopped. They basically just came back to them about a month later and were like, I think they noticed us setting up the cameras because we haven't had any sightings. It's like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
weird.
So The Whale and Joker,
Yes.
Rise of Gru. That sounds great. And we both recommend Minions Rise of Gru very highly. Tim, we are running rapidly out of time.
I mean, I could save mine for next week.
Okay, fab. Do you want me to cover mine? It's a really quick one.
Yeah, let's go for it because mine's non-topical. It's any time.
When was the last time you were ID'd, Tim?
I got ID'd around November last year.
For what?
I was picking up wine.
Oh, that's a good thing to be ID'd for.
Yeah.
So I wasn't ID'd for this, but today a chugger, charity mugger knocked on the door. These people that knock on the door and say, would you like to sign up for this monthly fee every week? No,
I'm good.
But I'd love to talk you into it. No. I answered the door and he went, oh, hello, mate. I was like, hello. And he said, I'm with the Red Cross. Have you heard of us? I said, yeah, absolutely heard of you. The Red Cross do some really good work. And he said, I am actually only allowed to talk to people over the age of 35. So, how old are you? And I went, 33. And he went, I will see you in 2 years.
If he comes back on this exact day, 2 years from now.
What a weird cut-off point. I'm only licensed to speak to people 35 and older, is what he said.
That's unusual.
How strange is that?
That is very unusual.
Yeah. Anyway, Tim, let's hear, where are the killers from?
So, the pub quiz question of the week was, what US city did the band The Killers originate? Any last guesses, Joey?
Are they from Des Moines, Iowa?
They're not from Des Moines, Iowa. They are from Las Vegas.
Oh.
They're Vegas boys.
I didn't think anyone actually came from Las Vegas.
Neil Breen comes from Las Vegas.
Well, he's not a real person.
He is a real person. He's a maverick.
Neil Breen can't hurt you.
He is real, but he can't hurt you.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to. Okay.
No.
I'm not changing the movies.
No. We're never watching a Neil. I'm never, ever watching a Neil Breen film.
Best.
No, I'm not doing it. And I know I'm going to get Slade in the comments on the Discord and Alex in the comments on the Discord. Oh, we love Neil Breen. Load of shit, and I'm not wasting my time with it. So I've sat and I've watched The Room. I've sat and I've watched Cats. And this week we sat and watched Minions Rise of Gru. I will not stoop to Neil Breen.
Neil Breen's on a pillar. He's on a big old podium.
One that I will not be stooping down to. Tim, who do you want to shout out this week?
Discord news of the week. I should probably get that ready, really.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to shout out two wonderful people that I've just mentioned, Alex and Slade. Alex, newest member of the Game Club pod hosting crew. Hosting? Yeah, that's what we do.
Hosting gang.
Newest member of the hosting gang. Slade, oldest member of the hosting gang. Two wonderful folks doing wonderful things on this podcast. I also like to shout out, as always, the lovely Dan and the lovely Josh from Casting Views and Talking Spec, respectively, as well as all of the Podpack Collective being wonderful, stand-up, incredible people who make some fantastic content.
Yeah, and our Discord user of the week is Fox Photons.
Oh,
one of the guys from the gaming duo.
Fox Photons was our user of the week about 3 weeks ago.
Was he really?
Yeah, well done. It's our first ever double.
First double. Yeah, no, I was going to give it to someone else, but no, first double. It's fine.
Yeah, first double. Good for Fox Photons. Tim, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Take that, you bastards.
Take that, you bastards. We will see you in a week's time.
Bye.
Bye.